Welcome to Viva La Vegan, day 7. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare kale. Here I have a couple of different varieties of kale. This is a multicolored and this is a regular curly leaf kale, which honestly where we live, usually the only kind we can find is the curly leaf kale, which works very well for any recipe calling for kale. If your kale starts to get a little wilted, you can actually stick it in a glass of water. In the fridge is best, but even on the counter would work out fine to help perk it up a little bit. Kale should always be washed in a sink full of water because it gets grit in it because it's grown in dirt. And so I just fill the sink with water, put the kale in, and really swish it around because trust me, you do not want to bite into gritty kale. Once the kale has been rinsed out, I have a favorite method for getting the stalk off. The stalk is really tough, and I don't like how the stalk tastes. I just want the leaves. So to me, shake the water off a bit, and then you're gonna I'm right-handed, so I'm going to grab the stalk in my left hand and then use my right hand to tear the kale away from the stalk into bite-sized pieces. And then I'm just laying it on a towel here, and I do kind of tear it as I go. And it actually goes pretty quickly. And just continue to go through your sink full of kale. Once you have ripped away all of your kale leaves, you'll have a nice big stack. And always remember that greens are going to wilt a lot when you cook them. So if your whole towel is full of kale, it still is going to cook down to at least half that size. Once I'm done, I tend to just blot it off a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry. And now your kale is ready to use. What do you do with kale? Last week we posted a crispy kale recipe in which you actually bake it and eat it almost like chips. One thing to do is just steam it. Make sure that as you're steaming it, you make it is bright green. You don't want it to turn to that pea green, just like with broccoli. And you want the leaves to be tender and not to just whatever texture you like, not too crisp, but not a pile of mush. They do actually stand up very well to cooking though. So you could just steam it and then add lemon juice or tamari or Bragg's liquid aminos, whatever flavor you like, or even combine also with some nutritional yeast. Another option is to add it to something else that you're cooking. You'll notice there's kale in power rice and rye, and it just needs to have time to wilt down a little bit and kind of steam up within the dish. You'll want to add it later in the dish. Also, it can be thrown into stir fries toward the end of the cooking time, or just beans and kale is one of my favorite. Saute the beans with garlic and olive oil, and then add the kale, put the lid on, and then just keep an eye on it as it cooks down until it gets to the right texture for you. So I hope you'll give kale a try because it is chock full of vitamins and minerals, and it really is delicious.